Hello, you beautiful people. Thank you so much for being here and welcome to the Fiercely Spiritual podcast. I am your host, Sandra Ray. I'm an author, healer, and spiritual teacher, and I'm so glad to have you here with me this week. So, if you were listening to the episode last week, you will know that we are talking about your emotional guidance system this week. So, we're going to be looking at what the emotional guidance system is. We're going to be talking about how you can use it to your benefit to start steering the direction of your life for the better. And we're going to look at the mistakes a lot of people make when it comes to their emotions. So lots to get into, and I want to get started straight away. We're going to talk about the emotional guidance system and what it is. So I like to compare it to your satellite navigation in your car. So basically, your satellite navigation leads you from point A to point B. When you are driving along, if you need to turn one direction, it'll say go right. It might say go left. It may say go straight ahead. But if you don't follow it and you take a wrong turn, or you keep going straight when you were meant to turn left, it may start telling you to go back. And there's some of them that will start saying go back as soon as you can, or turn around as soon as you can, and it'll keep saying it until you turn around. Now others just redirect you, but I want you to have that in your mind when we talk about your emotional guidance system, because really they're pretty much the same thing. So your emotions, totally like your sat nav in your car, if you're feeling good, you are going in the right direction. If you start feeling emotions that are painful, so what are painful emotions? Anger, sadness, jealousy, blame, regret. All of these emotions are painful, heavy emotions. If you start feeling any of those, it's like your emotions are guiding you, telling you you've gone off track. And instead of saying go back, turn around, they just keep giving you that same feeling of feeling blame or feeling regret or feeling some sort of pain until you turn around. So how do you turn around? Usually it is your thoughts that are going in the wrong direction. So in the vehicle that you're driving, instead of being a car, the vehicle is your thoughts, okay? So the vehicle is your thoughts, and the emotions are your satellite navigation, your emotional guidance system. So when your thoughts are going in the direction of towards pleasure, when you're thinking thoughts, loving thoughts, when you're thinking thoughts of anything that's loving, that's kind, that is complimentary, anything that leads you towards pleasure and pleasurable emotions, that's when you're going in the right direction. When you are thinking thoughts that are painful, when you're thinking thoughts that are not in alignment, that are not aligned with love, that's when you start going in the wrong direction. So it's like you're driving along that road, you're thinking good thoughts, you're feeling good, and then let's say you look out the window and you see, maybe it's an old man sitting on the street and he's begging and he's looking for money, and you start feeling sadness for that old man, and you start feeling thoughts of, isn't it such a pity that he is destitute, or whatever you're thinking. And it's okay to think those thoughts, but suddenly you start feeling that sadness, and that's your guidance system saying, oh, you've turned in the wrong direction. Now, the one thing I want to highlight here is that that's not a bad thing necessarily. We can take little detours, but the detours are just telling us that we've veered in the wrong direction. In reality, If you follow the teachings in the Kabbalion, or if you have studied metaphysics, it talks about the all, that we are all in the mind of God, and that in truth there is nothing but love. And maybe that person who's sitting on the street begging, maybe they chose that path because there's something that they need to learn, and you feeling sorry for them isn't doing them any good. In fact, you should be feeling love towards them and sending them love and sending them that positive energy, because you sending them sadness and negativity is not going to help them. It's going to hurt them, because everything is energy. So you sending out that energy of sadness is going to hurt that person that you're sending it to. So let's get back to your emotional guidance system. So suddenly you've veered off track and you're feeling that sadness, and you're going to keep feeling it while your thoughts are going in that direction of feeling sorry for that person. Now, it's not to say that you can't help people like that. Of course you can, if they are willing and open to receiving help, but help them from a place of love, not from a place of sadness or from a place of pity, because they're lower vibe energy and they're lower vibe emotions. So your satellite, your navigation system, your emotional guidance system is always guiding you and always guiding you towards what will ultimately be for your best interest. And you know when you're in the right direction, when you're feeling good. Now, there is a caveat to this, because there are times when you will naturally experience something in life and you may feel angry, and your anger is totally justified. So what the mistake that we make is that when we realize that we have this emotional guidance system and we can veer ourselves in the direction of love or veer off track towards those painful emotions, you try and stay on track all the time. So when that anger comes up, you suddenly think, oh, I can't be angry, I have to turn towards love again. And then there's this like pull in opposite directions, because a part of you doesn't want to let go of the anger. A part of you is like clenching your body and your muscles and feeling anger. And then there's another part of you that's saying, no, just let it go and go with love. But you're not really letting it go. It's still there and it's still very much present inside you. And then that creates tension. There's like this like pull in opposite directions, like if you had an elastic band and you were pulling it in opposite directions, and you're pulling and pulling and pulling and pulling, and eventually it's going to snap. Okay, so I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to veer towards love every time some painful emotion comes up and say, no, I'm not dealing with that. I'm just going to feel loving thoughts and that's all I'm going to feel, because that's not the way to do it. And the same when you're driving your car. Say you do take a wrong turn and your satellite navigation is telling you to turn back as soon as possible. You don't stop in the middle of that street and turn around. You wait till it's safe to turn. You wait until a point where it's safe to turn back. So you might keep driving in that wrong direction for another mile or two or another kilometer, and knowing that you will turn around when it's safe to do so. So it's a little bit like that. When the anger comes up, what I want you to do, and it could be sadness, could be regret, could be anything else, what I want you to do is to firstly acknowledge it. And then I want you to feel gratitude for this emotion that's telling you you've veered off track. So this is the trick here, to allow the anger, but to be grateful for it, because you recognize, oh, I veered off track. Okay, I'm really grateful for this anger showing me that my thoughts have gone off track. And I'm just going to be grateful for this emotion, because I know that I can change my thoughts and I can slowly and gradually start veering back on track. But I don't have to jump there in one fell swoop. It can be a gradual turning around process, and I'm going to honor that process. So this is really the trick to master, not to try and jump from one thing to the next and do it all at once, but just gradually go from the anger towards the more loving thoughts, and to be grateful the whole time, to be grateful for the anger. If you're in pain, to be grateful for the sadness, to be grateful for the contrast, which shows you that you can experience a full range of emotions. And this is something that, to me, this is what mastery is about. When you can be in the sadness, but be grateful for it. When you can be in the anger, but feel the gratitude for it because you know that it's steering you back on track. To be in the pain and suffering, but to be grateful for it at the same time, not to try and get rid of it straight away. And it's the same when you're driving your car. If your sat nav tells you that you've turned the wrong way, you don't try to get rid of sat nav. You don't turn it off and say, well, I'm not listening to that again. You don't rip it out of the dashboard and throw it out the window. But yet we do that with our emotions. We say, I am shutting that emotion out. I'm not going to feel the pain. I am going to drink myself into oblivion because I don't want to feel any pain. Or I don't want to feel the sadness. So I'm going to work until I am exhausted because then I'll be distracted and I don't have to deal with the sadness. And that's the same as ripping your satellite navigation out and throwing it out the window and saying, I am not dealing with that. When the emotions come up, be glad, thank the emotions and say, thank you for showing me that I've veered in the wrong direction. Just as when the satellite navigation, when you're driving, tells you you've gone the wrong way, you say, oh, I've gone the wrong way. Great, I can get back on track now. I know where I'm going. And you don't say to it, well, I'm not listening to you anymore. I don't like you. I'm not listening to what you're telling me, because it's just a machine. And I'm not saying that your emotions are a machine, but they are programs that are running through your system, programs that have been picked up along the way. And most of them are picked up between the ages of 0 to 7. So they definitely are programs that are running. So don't berate the programs, don't berate your emotions, don't start feeling that you should be happy 100% of the time, because that's not what it's about either. It's about using your emotional guidance system to your advantage and allowing it to let you choose what feels better, but at all times being grateful for where you're at. Okay, so go and try it. The next time you find you're veering off track and you find those painful emotions coming up, acknowledge the emotion that's there, feel grateful that it is guiding you back on track, and allow yourself to gradually turn towards love, turn towards loving thoughts. You don't have to do it all at once, but to gradually get back on track. Okay, I hope this has helped you, and I hope that you do go and practice this, because you will definitely notice a positive difference in your life. And what happens is, when you become good at practicing this, you'll find that the time it takes to go from feeling the pain towards feeling loving again will diminish the more and more you practice it, and you get really good at bouncing back. So go and practice it and let me know how you get on. Thank you again for being here, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.